Hey everybody, welcome back to another video. My name is Pat, this is Gina, and we have left much of our old life behind to come on down here to South Carolina to the amazing Club MX facility to train full-time and really dedicate much of our lives to this motocross lifestyle. So if this is a journey you'd like to come on with us, consider subscribing to follow along. So we are officially 1 month into the training program here at Club MX, and what we would like to do is talk with you a little bit about the coolest things we have found so far down here, the biggest challenges that we are experiencing here, which will be many, and you definitely want to stay tuned to hear those, and of course, the biggest surprises, the things that surprised us the most. So we're going to dive right into this and talk a little bit about some of the coolest things. Gina, what are some of the coolest things that you are finding about being here at Club MX?
So the coolest thing I have found so far is just how awesome this little world is that these Club MX folks have created. We are feeling kind of like we are in like a little bubble. You enter the gates of Club MX and all of a sudden you have entered Moto world. And it's really cool. The best way I can kind of describe it is sort of like being on a college campus, except it's for people that want to get really good at riding dirt bikes. And it's been really fun to be here because you really just feel like you are in your own little bubble, just like living this lifestyle. And I just find it really fascinating that they have built this little world here and that people are kind of coming and going all the time within it, but it remains what it is. What about you? What has been the coolest thing so far?
I'd say hands down the coolest thing for me as a rider is the access and availability to the tracks and the world that you're talking about. It's one thing to see it online. It's one thing to watch YouTube videos. It's one thing to hear it from other people. But to, like you said, to enter those gates and to come on up here, and, you know, we're in a camper living here for months, and everything is literally just so accessible, and the tracks that we get to ride on are otherworldly. So we have a lot of amazing tracks up in New York also. So I always want to give credit, you know, to our hometown and where we're from. But, you know, the training facility is really designed to challenge you in every single way possible. And the tracks are a big part of that. They're designed to challenge you, but everything is, it seems and feels very, I don't want to use the word safe. The tracks are very challenging, but inside of how challenging they are, you can progress through them to get to where you need to be. You know what I mean? So my first day here, I never thought I'd be able to do literally anything, any of these obstacles, anything on any of these tracks, or make it anywhere on these sand tracks. And then just through time and progression and with the leadership of the coaching team and the trainers, you just kind of like build up your ability to do it, to take these tracks to the highest level. So that is the coolest thing by far, is that we actually get to ride here and experience the tracks at the levels that we do.
Yeah, just being able to like walk out the front door and go to a track within like 30 seconds is pretty cool, especially if we're used to like living in an apartment, having to drive like 30 minutes to a track and then having to go to a car wash to wash the bike and bring it home and unload everything. It is just like so different being here and being able to just have everything you need to do this sport right at your fingertips.
Yeah, I agree. So the next one, this could be lengthy, but we'll keep it short. What would you say were some of the biggest challenges that we found so far in the first month of being here? And not just being here, but like making the moves that we did.
Yeah, man. I mean, I would say the biggest challenge is just realizing how challenging this sport really is, especially when you're doing it full time. So with the amount of riding that is happening between like bike malfunctions or parts, you know, not working or not getting parts back in time, or injuries and recovery time and managing all of that, it has been crazy. And the weather, this winter has thrown us so many like random winter storms. It's really kind of felt like one thing after the other, and we're just sort of like moving through it together. But man, like the challenges just seem to be all around, and it's not just us, it's everyone here. It's just sort of what comes with doing the sport. But I think we're both learning very quickly how to adapt and change course and continue to move forward through adversity. And it's definitely breaking us down to build us back up. What do you think?
Well, I have two answers now, because when we started to kind of like map out this video that we wanted to share with everybody, I had an answer. And my answer initially was like the mental focus, the amount of mental focus it takes. And I can't speak for everyone, but for myself, the amount of mental focus that it takes for me to jump into such a well-designed, efficient program, but a program that requires a lot of you if you are wanting to do the program in full. So coming from very little discipline and not much riding during the week and not much focus on a certain thing and improving on that thing, the amount of mental focus it takes to do all of these little things, that was my first answer as to how challenging this was. Just doing the program itself has been challenging to hold myself accountable to.
Yeah.
And that, again, that's why we do this, why we did this. And I think as far as like to speak to Gina's challenges and what I'm going to bring up in agreement with them, is that we have kind of this idea, this philosophy that when you try to jump outside of your comfort zone perceived by us in a huge way, this is a big jump for us. Life doesn't just necessarily roll out the red carpet for you when you're trying to overcome so many of your own limitations, so many of your own limiting beliefs, so many of your own philosophies on life and what is possible here. It doesn't just, because you jump, make it, I would say, easy for you. So this journey over the last month has really been just experiencing over and over and over again so many of the reasons why I feel like we didn't do this sooner, or the reasons that we thought, this would be, difficult. I really feel like life tries to push you back into your comfort zone. And that's one of the things that I found to be most challenging, along with the discipline, is navigating that, processing those things, letting them go, trying to, like you said, be people who are adapting to this instead of being affected by it. Because it's gnarly. It's a big, big change. And it's a change. Again, it's change that we wanted, the exact change we asked for. It's everything we asked for and more. But like, we want to be real with you about how challenging it has been for us to do it right, because it's such a good program and you want to get the most out of it. So the mental challenge has been what my answer was. The next part of that, because riding as much as we do, you see a lot of like injuries. It's not just being sore. We've been dealing with a bunch of different things from last year, and that's just part of the sport. So you're trying to manage your own ability to mentally get into the program and do it, and then also physically make sure that you can do it. So I feel like that is not something that my mind in the beginning, when we were like, let's do it, was considering, like what it's like to constantly ride sore, to constantly ride with something nagging you. We're doing all of it together, living in a camper, figuring it out. I think it's one thing to intellectually be like, we know what these challenges are going to be.
Yeah.
And then it is an entire different experience to walk through those and face those. Not something we didn't know was going to happen.
Yeah.
But yeah, we want to be honest and tell you like how gnarly this has been. Incredibly fulfilling, but gnarly.
Yeah.
And I think one goes with the other. I don't know that it would be so fulfilling if it wasn't gnarly. So we are taking polarization of that, the good with the bad, and we just keep going forward.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so our third question is, what is something that surprised you the most about coming here that you didn't expect?
Yeah, for me, I think it was just how quickly I realized that I love the lifestyle of motocross and a lot of the values that come along with it. So I'm finding things like taking care of your body, eating healthy, family, doing things together, working as a team, having faith. The lifestyle of motocross really aligns with our core values. And I think it didn't take very long for us to be here, for us to kind of look at each other and be like, this is it. Like, this is what we want our life to be like. This is the life we want to create and live together. And so I think I was just surprised by how quickly I was able to identify and feel that way about it, because you always think you're gonna love it, but you never actually know, like, until you get there, does this really align with me and who I feel like I really am? And I feel like yeah, that was my biggest surprise, was just how quickly I felt like, yup, this is where we belong. This is where we want to be. This is like, these are our people, like this kind of thing.
100%, 100%.
Yeah. How about you? What was the biggest surprise?
So the biggest surprise for me, I would say, is I'm shocked at the amount of riding that they do. Like they get it in. And the program is designed to really make sure that you not only get time through repetition to kind of do these drills and get the motos in and get your endurance ready, but they're so well guided, and there's so much quality riding time. That's not something that I expected to this level, and I expected to ride a lot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of riding, and it's under the best possible supervision in a way. So I don't feel like any of the riding is wasted. It's all very, very intentional. And just, I can't explain how much I feel like, even in this short period of time, how much I'm benefiting from the amount of riding that we're doing, and the different terrains and the different types of tracks. It's raining. They have a sand track. They have, you know, it's just incredible, the different variety of experiences that you can have on the bike to prepare you for whatever it is that you want to do. And then to kind of piggyback off of that, and it's my favorite part, but I can't explain how surprised I am and was by the amount of personal attention that I, as the rider, have received.
Yeah,
and
for sure.
Again, I understand full and well that this is not necessarily a program that's designed for a 47-year-old vet rider who's trying to, you know, improve, but it is. And there are other humans here in my age, older than me, younger than me. There's literally all over.
I think the age range was like 9 years old to like 50 something.
Yeah.
So that's like a little bit of everything.
So that is also something that I was a little bit nervous about, but very surprised of how well received, I am, and how seriously what I'm trying to do is taken from, Ross in the fitness and training area, Ben and Hayden, who work with us on the actual track and on form and style and drills and procedures and mindset, all the way to, Deb in the kitchen from the nutrition. Like, the amount of personal attention that I received, and then therefore everyone receives, being here blows my mind a little bit. I don't want to say that I thought I'd be like a number, but I did not think that I would be so personally, like, my goals and things that I'm trying to accomplish here, that they would be so interactive with all these amazing trainers. So just the best surprise in the world is that, like, developing relationships with these people who are so knowledgeable and, like, willing to help you get to where you want to go. And I need to be in a place where I feel like the people that I'm working with care as much about, if not more, about what I'm trying to do than I do. And we have that in spades here with everyone here. So that's my biggest surprise for sure.
Yeah.
All right. So bonus question, and it's kind of obvious, but would you recommend it to any of our friends who are wanting to train?
100%. Yeah. I think that the product and program that they have created and designed here is amazing. It's such a fun experience for anyone that is wanting to just test themselves and see what they've got, and that goes for the rider and the partner and the family members and the moms and the dads and whoever's watching. It's gonna test your ability to work as a team and to see what you can do. And I've been watching Pat, like, work his butt off. He is, like, seriously, like, putting in so much work. It is crazy. So I can't speak as the rider, but just seeing the amount of attention and care and guidance that you're receiving, and then I'm receiving just from being part of it, it's really been, like, invaluable. I feel like we will take this experience with us forever. And so, I would highly recommend.
Life is short. Test yourself, right? Figure it out. See what you can do. Now that you'd say you'd recommend it, this is like an out of the blue question.
Okay.
What would you tell someone to prepare them for coming for, like, a month? What would your advice be to them?
Yeah, so my advice would be to know that when you get here, you might experience some little bumps in the road. And the reason for that, I think, is just because this place is like its own little vortex. It's its own little world. And so you're coming from wherever you are now into this brand new world. And it just seemed to be like a theme from what we saw of us and everyone around us seem to be just sort of like going through almost like an initiation process when they first got here, of just like random bumps and challenges and things to overcome to sort of like settle into this place. And so I would say prepare for that, know that it's normal, and keep going, because you're gonna get over those humps and then you're going to settle in, and then you'll feel, I think, like this is where you're meant to be.
Yeah, we've talked about it a couple times. This place seems to exist at like a certain frequency because everyone's intention is the same.
Yeah.
And it's a very, very, very high level intention. And it's the only goal for everyone here. So when you enter a place where all of the humans in that place are like-minded and have a similar intention, anything that doesn't match that seems to get kicked out.
Yeah,
so I can't,
sure.
I don't want to speak for anyone else, but I'll speak for us. We had the best intentions. We want to be the best versions of us. So we came to a place where other people can help facilitate you becoming the best version of yourself as a person, on a motorcycle, as a team, like everything you said. What we're aware of kind of in our lives is that when you go from that place, which maybe is not always constantly at that frequency, when you enter into a place that is, you have to align to it by the choices that you make and what you do. And a lot of your old stuff breaks apart. And I think that's what happened to us. Like a lot of our old behaviors, a lot of our old patterns, like they don't fit here. They literally, you can't do them and be successful here. So this place is constantly, I believe it performs at such a high level that it's constantly asking you who you want to be.
Yeah, definitely.
Who do you want to be today? What level do you want to perform at today? If you choose the higher level, everything is here for you. If you want to choose your old patterns and your old stuff, that's here too, but we know where that road ends. So I feel like that's something to let anyone know, like what the process might be for you to align to the level that this place operates at, and that it would be worth it.
Yeah, especially if you go into it sort of knowing that and being really honest with yourself, because the more honest you are with yourself about your own limitations or your own sort of like BS or excuses or whatever things you've used to sort of hold yourself back, those things are going to get exposed so quickly because, again, like Pat said, of the level of that they're at and the level of discipline that it requires and all of that. So the more honest you can be with yourself, the more you're going to get out of the experience, because you're going to be willing to let that stuff go and just grow so much quicker.
Agreed. All right, so we have another 5 weeks to go here. Thank goodness at Club MX. We have area qualifiers starting for Loretta Lynn's. So we're going to be doing some racing along with our training, some bike setup work, like so many cool things to share with you. So that's where we leave you. Thank you again so much for taking the time and spending with us. Like and subscribe to continue to follow us on our journey, and have an amazing day, a wonderful night. We'll see you all next time.